If it has a score, we cover it more. From football to lacrosse, hockey to baseball, we've got what you want. Welcome to the Rod Pedersen Show.
Good morning, Canada and Canadian sports fans around the world. Welcome to the Rod Pedersen Show on Friday the 13th. Who's it going to be bad luck for?
I wasn't even paying attention until you said that.
Until I said it? Oh,
Yeah.
boy. There's 13's going to be a theme throughout today's program. Welcome to the bunker, everybody, for a Football Friday, episode number 73 of the show. I'm Rod Pedersen. He's Darren DuPont. And that means if I'm Brooks, he's done.
You like that one, Justin?
How's that?
That's good.
Look, he's laughing already. We got Justin Dunk in the bunker here for today's. It's a dunker today. Justin Dunk from 3downnation.com. How you doing, my friend?
Ooh, I'll take it.
A dunker. Welcome
man.
to the dunker.
Yeah, good to be here, boys.
I'm excited too. Hall of Fame football broadcaster John Frenzy's on the couch over there. We've got Damon Duval coming on later today. If you have a problem with that, ask Clark why. He's not even the villain of the 13th Man, but he was the Alouettes kicker who kicked the game-winning field goal in the 2009 Grey Cup. Damon Duval, I know. Kind of appropriate that it's Friday the 13th. He's actually a really good guy. Shut up, Lynch. Your time's coming. He's over on the couch over there. And Paul, it's a party already.
It's going to be bonkers.
Scott Flory will be with us, the head coach of the U of S Huskies. And that's probably why I'm the most excited. The Wheat Bowl tonight. Rams Huskies. Let's pack the place. I was wearing a Rams shirt earlier, but it's green, and they made me take it off. But I wanted to rep. I'm alum. That's why Justin Dunk's in town, man. Are you getting a vibe already?
Yeah, man.
That this is exciting?
Are we calling it the Wheat Bowl?
Yes, we are.
Can we give it a title?
Okay.
We're calling
I feel like
that.
it needs one.
Yeah, but you and I, Justin and I were over in Steve Bryce's office yesterday, and we were talking about this, and he's like, yeah, it needs a name. He believes it. And so he brought up the Wheat Belt, and that was, we talked about Jim Mullen's creation with Crown Countdown, his show, which is now on TSN. It's a championship belt. He pulled up the picture, and it actually looks legit. It's a Wheat Belt, the Husky logo, the Rams logo. There's green on it. It's got the green leather.
Two different greens too.
Yeah, the two different greens, the Rams green and the Huskies green, kind of in trim. It's $800 to get the belt done. They priced it out, but it has to go through so much red tape at the university level. It has to be approved by everybody. It has to be sanctioned by both athletic departments. So we're working on it.
Yeah.
But now maybe I'll call Jim. Maybe we'll get the Rod Pedersen Show on that thing too, and we'll.
I like the Wheat Bowl, but it's Rams Huskies tonight. It's a huge football weekend. Obviously, Riders Alouettes tomorrow. Week 14 in the CFL kicks off tonight, Ottawa at BC. So I got a lot of things to talk about. Not to mention some hockey news. Dustin Buffalo, when we find out this morning, has left the Jets for personal reasons. We'll be talking about that. We'll see how it's going over in Winnipeg. SJHL opening night. A lot of things to get to. But just I'm stoked for the Huskies and the Rams tonight. And Justin, you'll be on the call. You'll be on the sidelines, Darren. I'll be roaming the crowd. I've convinced Mrs. Pedersen to come. She's stoked. And I'm in a bit of a pinch here because I am Rams alum. Thanks to the Rams for that. But my very best friend in the world is Perry Nias, and his son Mason's quarterbacking for the Huskies tonight. So I think the whole stadium's there's a vibe, Justin.
Is Mrs. Pedersen an alum?
Not of the U of R. No, but she will be a Rams fan, I'm sure, tonight. What's your take on the game?
I think it's going to be tight. I'm with you. Mason Nias has looked good, but the Rams, I think, have definitely surprised. And this Josh Donnelly kid, he can spin it.
Yeah, he can. Well, his numbers are up there. He's leading the Canada West
yeah.
or the nation in passing
Second in
yardage.
the nation, first in Canada West.
Unbelievable.
719.
Paul, turn your phone off. Are you new
Hollywood.
at this TV stuff?
Good to be here.
and Paul's out. He's out, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead, Darren.
Anything goes here, Justin.
Have you noticed?
Goes,
Yeah, we're learning that.
If you've noticed. Yeah, you know what? I do think it's going to be a really, really good football game. I'm excited. Talking about the two quarterbacks, I think two of the top young quarterback prospects in the country. You know, both in their first year, both will have an opportunity to challenge for records and put up big numbers in their careers. They should both be among the U Sports all-time passing leaders by the time they're done. But I'm more excited for Nick Daly.
The return of Nick Daly.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that. You know, when he left the Rams, it wasn't a great situation. And now he's back with their provincial rivals, and he's big on social media. He's lean and in shape, and he's really having a great start to the year, and he wants to make noise and potentially, you know, earn himself a shot at the pros and whatnot, but he really wants to stick it to the Rams, and they want to stick it to him too. So it's going to be
There's a lot
fun.
of storylines. There's a lot of storylines. And let me say this. What did the Rams or the Huskies last week for the UBCM? You were there. 6,200 and change.
It was packed, man.
Right.
It was bumping down
Can
there.
we at least beat that? At least? We're supposed to be a football province. The Wheat Bowl tonight. Come on. Tickets are cheap. Come to Mosaic Stadium. And again, these guys will have the call. But to the CFL. And Week 14, Justin Dunk is the Adam Schefter of Canada. I hope you don't mind me saying that. Maybe the Ian Rappaport, something like that. But it's getting really juicy in the CFL too right now.
It is.
Every game means something this week.
That's right, it does. And I feel like with additions coming in, like Jordan's Williams-Lambert and some of the other NFL cuts that haven't made their way up here yet, it's crunch time, baby.
The Jordan Williams-Lambert, I'm glad you brought that up. He's not going to play tomorrow. What do you know about his return and the delay and all the rest that went down there?
Yeah, overall, there was a lot of flack online about the report that I had on 3 Down, which is totally fine. I mean, Roddy, you've been out there before. I remember actually, I was kind of comparing it to when you broke the Oilers news, that people were saying, oh, well, you're not a hockey
they didn't
guy.
believe-
They didn't believe you.
Yeah.
And I'm going, trust me, I didn't say that he was signed. I said that he was on his way back. A couple sort of housekeeping things had to happen, right? Because when he first left, he had that grievance that was filed, and then it needed to be made sure that it was okay under the new CBA, which happened. Great, done. But when he signed in Chicago, and this is the most important part from a money standpoint, he got $15,000 to sign and $30,000 in base salary. So he could have sat at home and collected that money because that base salary was guaranteed. We're talking $30,000 American. We did the math. What was it, 50,000 about Canadian? I'm no math whiz. So the Riders needed to make it worth his while to come back. So they did that, paid him $60K total, $30,000 to sign, $30,000 in a signing bonus, in salary, get him back on the field, and then pay him $150K for 2019. But he still has a chance to take that NFL shot with the window in the offseason. So all in all, that's why it took so long.
Mm-hmm. Do they need him? Clearly, they don't feel they need him because he's not playing this week, or they don't need him imminently.
They're not going to rush him in, but I feel like he's the perfect addition to that receiving core.
Yeah.
Because you have sort of some of your smaller, quicker guys, Shaq Evans, Kyron Moore, and yes, Manny Arsenal has sort of been serviceable, but that's probably the guy that comes out for Jordan Williams-Lambert. You give them a big jump ball target for Cody Fajardo. I think it's an ideal fit.
Seems pretty simple to me, but they just weren't willing to do it in time for this game.
Yeah, big time. It's interesting. Manny Arsenal's the guy that comes out.
We're guessing.
Is that what we're
Seems like
thinking?
it, yeah.
What does that do? Like, does that change up the leadership in that room? Does that do anything to that group?
Oh,
That was the only concern I think that came up.
Yeah, I don't think it does because Manny's a true pro and he's sort of taken on that role where he's going to mentor the guy. So I don't think that will change that much. And he's still going to be the guy that knows all the other positions that can come in as a backup, and he knows the offense. Yeah.
I want to mention, too, here in the warm-up, our Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center daily poll question is, which is Canada's game of the week in the CFL? And there's only 3 games. Ottawa at BC tonight on Friday Night Football, and then a Saturday doubleheader, Hamilton at Calgary, followed by Montreal at Saskatchewan. Right now, leading the vote by a smidge is Montreal at Saskatchewan. 52%. 45% are voting for Hamilton at Calgary tomorrow, the rematch of the 98 and 99 Grey Cups. And then Ottawa at BC is only 3% of the vote, which, am I perverse in being interested in tonight's Ottawa-BC game? Or is that just because I'm a Devon Claybrooks fan now and Duron Carter?
The battle for the number 1 pick. The basement bowl.
Tank for who?
Well, as you mentioned in the interview, there's still a chance at the playoffs. But one of these teams I don't think will have one after tonight.
No.
I think one will be eliminated after tonight. I don't know.
Well, both of them aren't making it.
They're not making it, no.
Safe to say.
No.
Well, thank God you guys aren't coaching the team.
You know what? But that's it. The simulator came out and had BC at a 1-point-something% chance of making the playoffs, right? Ottawa has the least chance. But when you say nobody's making the playoffs, I mean, above Ottawa, BC, and Toronto, the next highest team had a 97% chance of making the playoffs. Yeah. So the playoff teams are set. But you never know.
Why the hell are they even playing the game tonight? Come on.
You said it, tanking.
Tank for Frank. Who's the number 1 pick going to be? You're the insider.
I'm biased, so we'll go with the quarterback, Nathan Rourke from Ohio, who's been absolutely shredding it. And if you look into some of the numbers, and I don't want to hype him up too much, but I believe he's put up some passing and rushing numbers along the lines of what Mike Vick and Cam Newton did in the NCAA. Yes, he's at Ohio, a MAC school, but anyways, ranked number 3. I'm not saying BC or Ottawa needs a quarterback, but Ottawa could definitely use one. Rourke from Oakville. Could make a lot of sense.
Yes, and I'm sorry to jump in here, but a few things going on. One, the Facebook wall. You got to pay attention to the screen here. Jeff Michaels, lots of Calgary fans are tuning in today, Roddy. The Stampeder fans, they want to talk about their game. And on our web poll, which is clearly different respondents than the Twitter poll, they're saying Hamilton and Calgary's Canada's game of the week, 48.7%. Tomorrow, Stampeders and the Ticats. Now, Justin, you work as well at CHTV in Hamilton. You're not just at 3 Down. Why do the Ticats, because I read this story, feel they owe the Stamps something going into this game tomorrow?
To be honest, I'm not too sure. I feel like it comes from a lack of respect. Even though they're 9-2, they just got the 2 losses. But the Ticats don't feel like league-wide they're talked about as a legit contender. And I feel like a lot of that has to do with Dane Evans. You look at the rest of that team, to be honest, Simone Lawrence is in his 30s. He is playing like an absolute stud, and Orlando Steinauer, their head coach, is biased, but he'll say he's the best defender in the league. And I think they're right. That defense has been awesome, and the only thing I think holding them back publicly is that Dane Evans is a quarterback. If it was Jeremiah Masoli running that team, and they only have 1 loss, and they're throwing up 30, 40 points a game, it's a whole different talk around the Ticats from a national perspective.
Sure, but that's not Calgary's fault.
No, not at all.
The story I read was that they owe the Stamps one. I'm like, they already beat Calgary once this year, right? In the Coffee Cup. Mm-hmm. So who is manufacturing the chip on their shoulder? Is it O? Is it...
Definitely O.
It is?
Be talking about that. And Simone and Brandon Banks, I just feel like they're disrespected. If you've been following Brandon Banks on Twitter lately, or on Instagram, he's been going off about everything, including...
Antonio Brown,
yeah, which he deleted. And he called out, I won't say the name, but he's called out some media people, too. When Andrew Harris was popped for being positive, he was mentioned in a story and called him out using some sort of profane language. So they feel like disrespected. I just feel like that's the mentality they've had all season.
Wow. That's unbelievable. But you know what? They do have a little bit of reason to feel that way. I mean, to be disrespected.
They're 9-2.
Who's disrespecting you?
And how many points are they putting up a game? Like, are they putting like?
They're still right up there at the top. Yeah,
they're putting up 30 points a game or more, and they're having success. They've got all the weapons. When you've got a good defense, you're going to have a chance to win football games and win a championship. We're seeing that in Winnipeg, right? When they have injuries, the defense can step up and win you football games because you're going to get off the field quickly.
I want to tell you something, though. One shout out this morning to Michael Gregory watching from Louisiana. He says, have a great Friday, folks, from the CFL page or the fan page, CFL fans in SEC country. Good morning, Michael. Thanks for watching. But we had Marshall Ferguson on here yesterday, the voice of the Ticats, good friend of yours, right? And Ferg said the same thing. The Ticats were upset that they didn't get love in the power rankings. They didn't get love in the simulator. Who cares? If you guys are worried about that, you're worried about the wrong things. And maybe that's why you've got the second longest drought in the CFL going back to 1999, because that shouldn't matter. I mean, other than the Dave Ritchie, if you guys are old enough to remember Dave Ritchie with the Winnipeg, they always were manufacturing some fight against somebody every week. They disrespected us. They don't believe in us, right? Maybe that's the motivational tactic, but do you think it's a good one? I mean, you're in Hamilton, so obviously you're hearing this all the time.
It's worked, yeah. And Orlando Steinauer is always going to find something. And I think that's why the guys love him so much, is that they don't want to disappoint him, but he's going to find a rallying cry. He's not going to say it ever publicly. And if you try to ask him sort of behind-the-scenes questions, he doesn't go there for a reason. But I feel like it's coming from Steinauer.
Well, we'll see if it works. Interesting comments coming in here that they play in a weak division. You're always going to have haters.
But look at their record against the West, though. It's strong. It's right there. I think it's 5-2, if I'm not mistaken.
Not a bad thing for Steinauer to do, though. When you got a young quarterback in who's got, this job of taking over a Grey Cup contender, this might be their best shot coming into the season that they've had in a while.
Definitely.
Right? Calgary stumbled a little bit out the gate, and Bo Levi was hurt. It was Hamilton's for the taking. And then Jeremiah Masoli goes down. There's your MLP candidate. Now, all of a sudden, if you don't have a quarterback, and we know that, without a quarterback, it's really hard to win in this league. So you take the pressure off and say, guess what? We're not getting respected. I've got a young quarterback here, and I'm going to get this narrative out that it's us against the world. So that if we do falter, well, it was expected anyway. So there's no pressure really on Dane Evans. It's a little bit easier on him, and I think that's what I think that's a big reason. He's trying to deflect and give his quarterback a little bit of protection there.
Well, the talk that's starting to happen now, though, and everyone's talking about Cody Fajardo and will he resign in Saskatchewan, is what if the Ticats do a quarterback? if Jeremiah Masoli coming off an ACL injury next year, who won't be able to go play in the XFL because their season will pretty much be done by the time he's healthy, and you have Dane Evans coming off a 400-yard game, albeit against Toronto, who people will say is one of the worst secondaries in the league. But to me, that's an underlying storyline in the East and with the Ticats that hasn't been talked about at all.
I know, and everybody's wants to jump ahead to February in free agency, which is salacious. I get it, but we've still got 6 weeks left, 7, 8 weeks in this season. And Brandon writing in this morning on Facebook, Rod, has Winnipeg proven anything yet, though, this year, playing this kind of ball? If it was not for Prevent D haunting 80 yards was a good drive. I don't know exactly what happened. I think he got befelled by autocorrect there. But nobody's proven anything. Nobody's proven a damn thing. So if you want to crown their ass, then crown them. That's why we play the games. And by the way, Joe is watching from New York City, Joe Lazito, and he's asking for Lynch.
Good man.
On Frenzy Friday.
On Frenzy Friday. Lynch is coming in after the break. This is the warm-up of episode number 73. On the way today, Scott Flory and Damon Duval. You're watching Canada's most watched Facebook live show, The Rod Pedersen Show. And listen live at rodpedersen.com. Catch our podcast at Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, and iHeartRadio.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.